We're broadcasting live from our Montreal studios in Bulawayo. Good evening and welcome to the main news. Marilyn Gwenya. Susan Masona is interpreting the bulletin in sign language. Let's take a look at the headlines. President Emerson Mnangagwa extends his heartfelt condolences to the Catholic Church and Catholics around the world following the death of Pope Francis this morning. In other news, Zimbabwe International Trade Fair officially opens its doors in Bulawayo today. Government impressed with the devolution and decentralization agenda. And later on in sports, Chevrons lead Bangladesh by 25 runs in the second day of a test match. Those are your headlines for tonight. Later on, we will be joined by Zain and Tanaka from our Pocket Hill studios in Harare for more news. But first, let's take a look at our first story. President Emerson Mnangagwa has joined the world in mourning Pope Francis, who died this morning at the age of 88. Comrade Mnangagwa posted on his X handle describing the Pope as a man of profound humility who stood for peace, compassion, and justice. He extended his heartfelt condolences to the Catholic Church and Catholics around the world. Pope Francis, who was also known as Cardinal Jorge Mario Bergoglio, was elected to lead the Catholic Church in March 2013 after Pope Benedict XVI stood down. The Pope has not been well since February this year and spent a lot of time hospitalized. His entire life was dedicated to the service of the Lord and his church. His death comes a day after he appeared in St. Peter's Square to wish a happy Easter to thousands of worshippers. We move on to another story where the Zimbabwe International Trade Fair, a cornerstone of the nation's economic calendar, officially opened its doors in Bulawayo this Monday, marking the start of a week of business networking, trade discussions, and showcases of innovation.
The Blue Sapphire edition of the Zimbabwe International Trade Fair kicked off this Monday as the premier trade showcase continues to develop and evolve, solidifying its position as a crucial platform for investment promotion, policy dialogue, and business linkages. For many local exhibitors, the ZITF has consistently served as a pivotal catalyst for economic development, market penetration, and expansion.
We are seeing that the patterns are changing in terms of industrialization, technological advancement. So I think this at the Zimbabwe International Trade Fair, it's an opportunity to learn how best can we industrialize, how best can we meet up with this technological advancement that our clients want.
As a woman who is in business for the past 25 years, we have seen ZITF evolving the past 7 years that we've been exhibiting. And as a business, we have managed to see growth and return on investment.
As a woman who is an SME, to be honest, being here at the ZITF, number one, the fact that there are over 600 exhibitors, we get business to business, so that's an added advantage because we now get to collaborate with other businesses, so the growth overall, and the exhibitors are not only from Zimbabwe.
The international presence at this year's ZITF is also notable, underscoring Zimbabwe's commitment to fostering global trade relations.
It brings together many players in the globe, specifically for economic development. So it's a place where whatever that you want, whatever partners that you may want to engage with, it's brought in one area.
We are participating in this great big fair the 5th time.
I've heard about this trade fair before, and I just recommend my company to join this trade fair because I know that it's going to be a very good opportunity to showing the Zimbabwe people of our productions.
Economist Mr. Stevenson Dlamini offered an insightful perspective on the timing of this year's ZITF, noting its alignment with the period of relative macroeconomic stability.
We are likely to witness a reduced pressure on dollarization. We are likely to witness new investors also being attracted to our country because investors love stability. And this is what Estepozik is presenting for them at a very timely time as we are crafting an integrated landscape in 2025 under the ZITF theme.
From the manufacturing to agriculture, technology and tourism, ZITF 2025 is indeed poised to be bigger and better for both local and international exhibitors. Yolanda Moy, ZBC News, Bulawayo.
Livestock farmers have hailed the government for empowering them to become innovative and overcome drought and livestock diseases.
The Zimbabwe International Trade Fair has for so many years been a platform that farmers wouldn't want to miss. It is the same scenario this time around as farmers took up a substantial space at the 65th edition of Zimbabwe's Premium Trade Showcase, which kicked off in Bulawayo this Monday. Displaying various breeds of cattle, farmers are appreciative to government support meant to grow the national herd.
A lot of people talk about the Nkoni cattle as being drought resistant. There's nothing that's drought resistant. If there's no food, animals die. But the advantage of the Nkoni is that they are a smaller framed animal and need less to maintain a body condition to stay fertile.
Benza lathi abalimi ekusisekeleni lokusikhuthazeni ukubana silime inkomo. Inkomo zisilethela inzuzo ekuphileni kwethu thina in general, at the same time ziyaphakamisa intuthuko yelizwe lethu.
Thina lezi zethu umhlobo wakho etwa ilimousine uyise wazo. Inkunzi yomhlobo ongajwayelekanga lapha kwelakithi, kodwa ke ngithande ngendlela etwa yenza ngayo ikakhulu eskalini ngenyama. Nxa uyikhangele ngamehlo sungayidelela ubone ngani ncinyane, kodwa kungafaka eskalini inento etwa i-dress percentage enhle kakhulu.
Goat and sheep farmers are also part of the trade fair, showcasing excellence in their field.
I want to thank the government for their help. They help us with feeds and farm machinery. Sometimes we have to make silage and we don't have enough machinery like tractors, and they help us with those.
Let's look after animals. Let's provide nutrition. Nutrition is key to everything. Your animals are less prone to diseases because they are more healthier.
In the wake of the El Nino-induced drought last year and recurrence of a January disease, government came up with various interventions that include the launch of livestock drought mitigation centers and the presidential tick grease program, which farmers believe were a game changer.
Meanwhile, the 65th edition of the Zimbabwe International Trade Fair has been described as an important platform for promoting the country's industrialization agenda.
The much-awaited country's biggest trade showcase, the Zimbabwe International Trade Fair, commenced today at the Zimbabwe International Exhibition Center in Bulawayo, and it is running under the theme Industrialization, Crafting an Integrated Economic Landscape. On the first day, the Minister of Industry and Commerce, Honorable Mangaliso Ndlovu, took time to appreciate how exhibitors are promoting the country's industrialization drive.
We can only achieve real economic growth if we focus on industrialization. And we thought that the President has made clarion call after clarion call that let us develop our country, that it is through industrialization that we can create meaningful jobs, that we can achieve real economic growth. And that's why our feeling was that this year we want to dedicate it to industrialization.
With the national checks and build a firm foundation for the National Development Strategy 2.
Being the last year of NDS 1, it will help us to take stock of what has happened, but also to really give us a firm foundation as we build to NDS 2, which I can say will pretty much be anchored on industrialization.
The fair has attracted over 600 direct exhibitors from over 20 countries, and ZITF board chairperson Mr. Busisa Moyo gave a breakdown of what to expect during the busy week.
There are multiple things that will happen tomorrow. We have a rural industrialization program that's on tomorrow. We will also have our official welcome cocktail for foreign delegates and foreign guests. We also have business-to-business meeting. We have some countries that are bringing large delegations, and one of those countries is India, and we have a special B2B interaction with delegates and colleagues from India that we've curated, and there are other delegations from Ethiopia that will be doing meetings on a B2B basis so that we can learn from each other, trade with each other, and invest.
Dubbed the Blue Sapphire Edition, the 65th edition of the country's biggest trade showcase, which will run for 6 days, will be officially opened by the President of Mozambique, His Excellency Daniel Chapo. Lisa Masuku, ZBC News, Bulawayo.
And our main news continues from our Pocket Hill studios in Harare, where Zain and Tanaka are on standby. Zain, Tanaka, it's over to you.
Thank you very much, Marilyn, for taking us through the first part of the bulletin. We are now continuing from our Pocket Hill studios right here in Harare. Thank you for joining us. My name is Tanaka Mienyua, and I'm not alone, of course. The gentleman with me.
Absolutely, and I am Zain Jamo, and thank you for tuning in. And exciting times as we are in the ZITF season, Tanaka.
Oh yes, indeed, and Bulawayo is the place to be right now as the ZITF doors have been opened this very day, which means there are a lot of things to look forward to, and it's going to be pretty exciting. And what I like about the ZITF is that each year it seems to get better and better and better.
Bigger and better. Well spoken, well said.
Yeah. So do remember, you can always get in touch with us on our social media platforms. That is at ZBC News Online, our website www.zbcnews.co.zw. Now we continue with the news from here. The First Lady's gender-based violence call center continues to uncover heart-wrenching stories that are threatening to the family unit and the societal fabric. We get more in the following report.
It was a soul-searching moment as the First Lady, Dr. Auxilia Mnangagwa, sat down for a heartfelt motherly conversation with a couple from Manicaland province this Monday who recently made headlines for the wrong reasons after Mr. Rodio Chimuti, not his real name, impregnated the wife of his neighbor. The shocking incident sent shockwaves through the community, prompting a concerned citizen to make an anonymous call to the First Lady's National GBV Call Center 575 seeking her intervention and guidance. Overwhelmed by the situation and facing a backlash from the society, Mr. Chimuti shared his heart-wrenching story with the mother of the nation.
Gara kuManicaland province tine dambudziko rangu randakaitaura kuti mukurarama kwavanhu pachikaranga apa namagariro atinoita mudzimba, vabereki vedu vanoshaisha pakuti vanokwanisa kungofamba vachinotsvaka zvinovabatsira vachifunga kuti zvinovabatsira asi vasingazivi kuti mangwana azokwanisa kuvapandukira. Nokufamba kwenguva nyaya dzokusangana namai dzakava problem, uyezve pataifamba pose vaitaura vachiti dambudziko iri kubva kuvabereki vangu. Saka mukuzoita vana kwandakaita inini ndakaitwa zvokuti zviya zvokusimbisiwa zviyazva kuvanhu vezvisondo. Saka pakazoitawo rumbo rakanaka ndakabva ndabereka vana vangu vaviri. Masenzera andaendoita mimba yemberi ayasinganyatsi kumira zvakanaka. Saka sezvo taitu vaviri tichiziva dambudziko redu rokuti taitabaita kuti vabereki vedu hatina hedu vane wari nazvo nomudzimai wangu, takati hazvina hazvo maka, asi tongoramba tichidi tichishingirira. Ndakazogumirwavo ndikafunga kuti rega ndisununure umwe wangu, sezvo iye akandibetsera vakagwisa hondo pakati vabereki vangu vakamira neni zvachose kusvika tabudirira hedu. Saka ndakazopa solution yangu ndoga ndakavhunza ita handakuvati vataure vaiti vapedzira vaine vana ini, ndangoti abatsirikewo mukurarama savamwe vanhu, asi ndozoona kuti pare zvino pakawaita kufara kwakanyanya pakuti mudzimai wangu aona pamuviri pane mwedzi mitatu.
Mrs. Chimuti admitted to have been impregnated by her neighbor.
Murume wangu akazosvika pakusuggestion yekuti tsvaga hako munhu wangofambidzana naye, handingakubatiriri bhozi saizi yako hauna mhosva. Saka ndangozosvika pakudi pakusanganawo nowandikasangana naye. Saka pakufambidzana apa ndakazonyanya kudanana zvakapfurikidza, ndobva ndazoita pamuviri pane 3 months. Panhumbi yandinayo apa sofa ndiri kugara kumba kwemurume wangu, handisi kugara kumba kweboyfriend, yakandipa pamuviri. Ende pakusangana kwataita taisangana musango, tasingasangani mumba because ndandichiri pamba pemurume wangu.
The neighbor in question seems to be without a plan to take responsibility for the pregnancy, care for the unborn child, or make amends for the wrongdoing.
Ndakazoona mukadzi wandaita naye
asaka ngondudza uchokwadi kuti ano ini ndakatenderwa kuita izvi nemurume wangu. Tikagara pasi murume wacho akandidana kubva kwandandiri ndikauya akandiudza shamwari usahla bepa randiri kunyorera iri nderekuti anogona kuda kunetsa handidi kana eno vanhu anokunetsa tinogara munharaunda 1 tikahotendera kuti atenderana ndopatakapanana mimba neumwe wangu ine 3 months takaitira musango tichitsvagawo mwana mukomana asi ndine vana 3 ndine mukomana 1 vasikana 2.
Sobbing and visibly shaken, Mrs. Magariro is struggling to come to terms with the betrayal and public disgrace.
Zvakaitwa nemurume wangu zvekudanana nemukadzi uyu hazvina kundifadza nekuti nyangwe nanhasi zvinotondibata. Togarisana munharaunda imwe tichionana every day, mashoko anenge achingotaurika. Ndakaona makadhibhokisi kumunda kwavanenge vachiwadzira vachivata ikoko. Mumba hatisiri kusangana. Kana vadoenda ikoko ndokwavari kunopedzera rudo rwavo, ina havachandioni semunhu. Takatoguma kusangana patova nenguva.
Moved by the pains of motherhood, Dr. Mnangagwa said she had never witnessed such in her lifetime, urging families to protect and nurture their marriages. She said this is taboo in our culture for a woman to have 2 husbands.
Mhuri yeZimbabwe maona nhasi kudai zororo, vanhu tiri pamazororo kudzimba nemhuri dzedu, asi pane nyaya yauya iyi yabva kune one of the provinces dzedu, Manicaland, ichitaura chimiro chingadai chinokahadza zvikuru zvokuti kana vazhinji vamwe tinoda kuti tisingange takazombowana first hand of information yakadai yekuti tingagara semugariro wenyaya yamanzwa iyi. Nhau yakatangira pa GBV toll free number 575. Vagari vakapoteredza vaona zvichishungurudza nokunetsa kuti mudzimai akwanise kuita varume 2 ende vavakidzani wekungoti imba iyi then dzimba dzimwe 3 pamberi. Saka kugara kwakadaro chipo chokuti mafamily members kana taiti zvoreva kuti takutozikana takuzivana kuti uyamuka uyapo uyakakwira bhazi uyakadzoka uyavakakwana noti tozivana togarisana. Saka kufona kwavakaita vakati mbotitarisirawo chimiro ichi taremerwa. Baba vane mudzimai vakati kumudzimai wavo ini ndo chimiro chandava handichakwanisa kunge ndichishanda mubedroom chapawo zvako kuti zvingakubatsira sezvo uri mwana mudiki saizvozvo. Ini chifungo changu ndechekuti panguva iyoyo baba pavakataura izvi amai vangadai vakachimira kuti baba mashoko amandiudza andiremera, handira kuza kugara kwese munotondionawo sokuti ndakava mvemve rakadaro rokuti ndingabuda muwanano ndonotsvaga mumwe munhu. Ndozvandaifungira ini. Saka vaifanira kuti vashingise murume wavo kuti aiwa Mwari kana vatisvitsa pakadai ndozvazviri, ini ndatozvitora sekushanda kwatachita nekurwisa upenyu hwedu kuti huite sekamhuri kedu. Usandifungira mweya iwoyo handikwanise. Vanzi chibuda kudaro vonotora futi munharaunda, asi vanonorara musango, kuwadza musango, voita mimba yavo musango, kuwadza makadhibhokisi vachita chimiro chakadaro. Handifunga kuti tingachitambira semutambiri wakadaro. Nyika yedu inofamba seiko? Kwavari ikoko kuna vana vechikoro, vana vadiki vatichifungira kuti ivo ngavaratidzewo sevabereki. Baba vane mhuri yavo nemudzimai wavo, ava vava vane mhuri kwavo. Saka nharaunda yo vana vacho vanoona kuti chii ezvino vana vekumurume uko akati mudzimai enda zvako buda hako asi uchidzoka uchichengeta vana. Kune vana vakura voona mai vane mimba vachitoziva kuti amai vaenda kusango zvino nababa panamba 3 imba panamba 3 kwabuda mimba. Hatigoni kutaura zvinhu zvakafanana naizvozvo munyika medu. Zimbabwe ndinzwirewo nyaya iyi yatorema iyi nyaya yakadai. Tinotenderera nyika yose kuti amai umba imba yako, amai chitanga wazvitarisa iwe pachako kuti ndiwo amai vacho vakadzika maire, mai vane hunhu hwakaita sei. Nhasi inini samai ndanyara, handigoni kutaura nyaya iyi.
After receiving motherly advice from the mother of the nation, both couples expressed their gratitude to Dr. Mnangagwa for her compassion, wisdom, and heartfelt guidance. At the end, the mother of the nation also felt there is no need for the couples to continue with the relationships before calling the GBV call center to activate officials from the Department of Social Welfare for continuous monitoring of the situation, while also promising to escalate the matter to traditional chiefs for appropriate action. Through the Africana Family Humanism Program, the First Lady continues to shape a generation rooted in values, culture, and integrity, leaving a lasting impact on the moral fabric of the nation. Peter Chivima, ZBC News, Harare.
We do continue to say no to gender-based violence. However, in our following report, the Judicial Service Commission is poised for growth, with the commission set to construct high courts in every provincial capital by 2030. The development was revealed by the Commission Secretary, Mr. Walter Chikwana. Let's take a look.
We are working on having a Gwanda High Court. We are constructing a massive courthouse, which we are sure will be completed during the course of the year. And that courthouse is going to house the High Court, the Office of the Sheriff, and the Magistrates Court. It's similar in nature and form to the complex which we have established in Chinoi. So the decentralization of the High Court is an ongoing process. We've already secured a land from Gweru City Council, where we are going to construct, after Gwanda, we are moving into Midlands. We are going to construct another High Court in the Midlands. And the idea, as I've indicated, is to ensure that every provincial station has got a High Court. And I believe that before the life of 2030 come to pass, we will be having high courts in every provincial center in the country.
Meanwhile, government says it is satisfied with the whole of government approach that focuses on devolution and decentralization to empower communities across the country. We get more in the following report.
Zimbabwe successfully hosted Independence Day celebrations in Gogo District, Midlands Province, as the Second Republic emphasizes on devolution and decentralization to transform communities. Speaking to ZBC News this Monday, the Minister of Information, Publicity and Broadcasting Services, Dr. Jennifer Muskwere, said there is no going back with an inclusive approach of ensuring no one and no place is left behind.
The focus is in terms of Vision 2030, where His Excellency the President, Dr. Mnangagwa, has directed that we utilize the decentralization and devolution of national events as part of an inclusive strategy in order to ensure that we leave no one and no place behind. This is a sustainable economic and social development program, which is to ensure that we build national cohesion, unity, and development. And part of the strategy is to ensure that a whole of government approach descends into a particular district, especially those particular districts which had been marginalized during the colonial era, in order to ensure that we build capacity. We also have got a framework in terms of analysis that takes care of a district analysis in terms of growth, that also analyzes the deficiencies in a particular area. And this will be presented in our next cabinet, wherein we will dissect the challenges in the particular district and the province, and a budgetary framework that will then support the completion of the works and many other works in order to align to the Vision 2030 goal.
Dr. Muskwere said the focus this week is on the Zimbabwe International Trade Fair, ZITF, which is expected to be officially opened by Mozambican President, His Excellency Daniel Chapo.
We are ready to host His Excellency the President of the Republic of Mozambique, President Daniel Chapo, who officially opened the Zimbabwe International Trade Fair. This is part of a trade strategy in order to ensure that we diminish the challenges that we faced in terms of an unfavorable balance of trade. This is part of an architecture which includes participation by various exhibitors. This year's Zimbabwe International Trade Fair exhibition has improved in terms of the number of exhibitors and also the quality of products and services that most of these international companies are exhibiting at the Zimbabwe International Trade Fair. So the size in terms of geography and the size of organizations also exhibiting is a clear demonstration that Vision 2030 has been a success.
Meanwhile, Minister Muskwere took a swipe on individuals and groups utilizing social media to incite civil disobedience among Zimbabweans.
I want to assure you that as government, we are more than confident that all Zimbabweans, including in the diaspora, are hard-working industrials and enterprising people whose major goal and vision is to ensure that the country achieves an upper middle income society by the year 2030. All Zimbabweans have a national mandate to ensure that we achieve this goal as a people. And we also have family responsibilities, which responsibilities are part of an inclusive approach as we journey towards an upper middle income society. But for the few malcontents, those are just unproductive, failed, incoherent charlatans who are merchants of falsehoods, and they will never amount to anything.
Meanwhile, the Public Service Commission has called on all civil servants to report for duty as usual and work for national development. In a press statement, the PSC said public servants should remain committed, disciplined, and fully aware of their responsibilities, hence avoid being misled by some reckless and disruptive incitements. The statement further warns that participation in any stay away that disrupts service delivery constitutes an act of insubordination. John Nandara, ZBC News, Harare.
Well, if you're a foodie, this one is for you because a recent study conducted by the University of Zimbabwe has shed light on the nutritional benefits of indigenous foods in Zimbabwe, revealing the potential in combating malnutrition.
The research, which focused on the nutritional content of wild vegetables and fruits, has significant implications for public health and nutrition strategies in the country. Led by Dr. Batsi Chipurura from the Department of Nutrition, Dietetics and Food Science, the research emphasized the nutritional power of indigenous foods such as blackjack, mutsine, baobab, mauyu, marula, mapura, amaranth, moa, and cat whiskers, nyeve or runi, which have proven to be richer in essential micronutrients than many commonly consumed exotic fruits and vegetables.
In Buera, they said, all right, Sine can treat sore cups, all right? Mouth sores. I also did a study in the lab. We found out that, all right, Sine has these antimicrobial properties. And in terms of medicinal uses, Mutsine was number one compared to most of the traditional vegetables that are consumed in Zimbabwe. So the answer to that is that Mutsine has antibacterial, also it has anti-inflammatory, anti-allergic, anti-malaria, antivirus, and also antibiotic properties. We looked at MOA. What we find in literature is that MOA can treat sores, malaria, colds, coughs, stomach aches, diarrhea, etc. But we are saying this should complement our medicine.
Promoting the cultivation and consumption of indigenous foods, according to the research, could be a sustainable solution to tackling malnutrition in Zimbabwe, particularly among vulnerable populations like people living with HIV, addressing a significant public health concern. Abigail Tembo, ZBC News, Harare.
A very interesting study done by the University of Zimbabwe right there. Now at least we can utilize our indigenous fruits and work on different things that we want. We know that women sometimes want some skincare routines, and now from indigenous fruits there is so much that we can get right from there. So I think kudos to University of Zimbabwe.
Absolutely.
Definitely. So meanwhile, the ZITF Manicaland Women's League held its provincial executive Mutasa this Monday, with the wing pledging support to its newly elected leader, Comrade Dorothy Mabika. We get more from the following.
Following her election as the new ZITF Manicaland Provincial Women's League chairperson early this month, Comrade Dorothy Mabika received a grand welcome at the Women's League Provincial Executive meeting held in Mutasa this Monday. Members of the Provincial Executive expressed confidence in the leadership of Comrade Mabika.
Pamwe namai chinomona vachibatirana vachivazotibatsira Manicaland vakatiita mukana wekuti tiitewo zvatinoda seManicaland madzimai kuManicaland tikaona mukana wekusarudzwa mai vatiri kuda.
Vana mai wedu vari kuuya nemaprojects, so taana amai vanotigaidha vachatibvisa muurombe nokutisimudzira.
Other party leaders endorsed Comrade Mabika, saying she is expected to rejuvenate and expand the activities of the league.
Nemafariro ari kuita madzimai mukati umo, ndinoona kuti vanhu vasarudza zvavari kuda, zvavari kufarira.
Tichiona mufaro uri pano nekusarudza kwawakaita provincial chair wavo Dorothy Mabika, aiwa nesuwo tinofara.
Takufara kuti munhu anoda vanhu, takashanda naye nguva yakareba.
Ndofunga mese muri kungoona kuti vanhu vari kufara kutambira mai, kuti mai wauya kuzoita kuti musha wedu uite zvakanaka. Iye zvino taakuda musha wakanyarara, musha unobatana, musha unobatira pamwe chete semadzimai.
Comrade Mabika outlined a vision which is anchored on peace, unity and development.
Tinoda kutenda kuti tichaedza nepese patinogona kuti Manicaland izikanwe kuti hakuna umwe kuna President Mnangagwa, unity, development and peace. Zvichibudikidza neWomen's League yandinenge ndichitungamira. Tinoda kubatanidza vanhu. Saka ndichashanda nesimba kuti tibatanidze vanhu. ZANU-PF ndeimwe. Ku development tinoda kuti madzimai tivape project. Sanhasi tatouya kuti tiite meeting ye project iri kuuya nevakuru next week.
Meanwhile, the ZANU-PF Secretary for Women's Affairs, Comrade Mabel Chinomona, has since advised the Manicaland provincial leadership on the wing's endorsement of the leadership of Comrade Dorothy Mabika. Kenya Sivuje, ZBC News, Mutasa.
Do remember to visit our website www.zbcnews.co.zw.
Do remember to like, follow and share. We are at ZBC News Online.
Here are the stories that are still to expect in this bulletin. Dish by 25 runs in the second day of Test match.
The main news takes a breather. We'll be back with you shortly.
These holidays, you don't need to go far to find the best entertainment.
Exactly.
All you need to do is stay connected to DSTV.
Yes, please.
Whether you're at home or on the move, make it a holiday to remember.
Lewis Hamilton leads on Ferrari debut.
Because these holidays, it's your moment to enjoy the best entertainment.
Great. Thank you guys for joining us.
So get and stay connected to DSTV to enjoy every moment.
My family has come a long way from when we started out in Mutoko. We've paid off the stand in town and built our own place. Our family is growing. But I guess some things don't change.
It's fun.
My mom used to bath me just like this. New Aura Beauty Soap for skin that glows. From the House of Zimgold.
Now this is banking redefined. Deposits done. Withdrawals easy. All in one smooth move. Sleek, chic, always on. Your new Stanbic Bank Bank ATM is here. Withdraw USD cash anytime, any day using any Visa or MasterCard at our new Zimray Park ATM located at Puma Service Station, Zimray Park Turnoff. You can also deposit USD cash into any Stanbic Bank account. No more queues or inconvenient opening hours. Stanbic Bank is a registered commercial bank and a member of the Deposit Protection Scheme.
The Minister of Veterans of the Liberation Struggle Affairs, Honorable Senator M. Mavunga, Deputy Minister, Honorable Senator H. Moyo, Permanent Secretary, Mr. A.T. Chikondo, Chief Directors, Commissioners, Ministry staff, and the entire veterans of the Liberation Struggle community join the President of the Republic of Zimbabwe, His Excellency Dr. E.D. Mnangagwa, in the nation at large in celebrating Independence Day. As we celebrate 45 years of independence under the theme Zim at 45, Devolve and Develop Together towards Vision 2030, we reflect on the remarkable journey that has shaped Zimbabwe into the proud and sovereign nation it is today. The Ministry of Veterans of the Liberation Struggle Affairs takes this momentous occasion to celebrate the hard-won independence through the supreme sacrifice of our gallant sons and daughters that paved the way for the transformation of the lives of the people of this great nation. As we celebrate Zim at 45, let us honor the legacy of our heroes and heroines by working together towards a prosperous Zimbabwe. Through devolution and inclusive development, we are building a future where the contributions of our veterans of the liberation struggle are fully recognized and rewarded. The ministry remains steadfast in its commitment to support the cause and welfare of the veterans of the liberation struggle community, ensuring that their sacrifices translate into a brighter as well as prosperous and empowered future. Long live the spirit of independence. Long live Zimbabwe.
Just over 6 decades ago, a bold idea took root to create a modest platform for local businesses to showcase their offerings. Over time, that vision expanded, evolving with the changing tides of commerce and culture. Today, the Zimbabwe International Trade Fair is a premier platform for trade, investment, and opportunity, connecting people, businesses, industries, and governments from across the globe. It's a space where ideas flourish, partnerships are forged, and the future is shaped. ZITF has driven industrialization, sparked innovation, and fueled growth. Now, as we mark 65 years, the legacy continues, stronger, more connected, and more determined to shape a prosperous future for all. Join us in celebrating the Blue Sapphire edition of ZITF, taking place from the 21st to the 26th of April 2025 in Bulawayo. ZITF 2025, Industrialization, crafting an integrated economic landscape.
Welcome back and thank you for staying with us. In tonight's feature, we touch base on the fact that independence brought about transformation of the colonial judiciary system, with government's priority being to bring justice to the people.
The 18th of April in 1980 ushered in a new dawn for Zimbabwe. The judiciary is one sector that has gone through a remarkable transformation in its quest to enhance access to justice for all and promoting rule of law. Before independence, the judiciary used to be male-dominated, with a few women judges and magistrates, but Zimbabwe now boasts of 250 magistrates, 65% of them being women. A sizable number of female judges are now sitting on the bench. Such a shift has placed Zimbabwe among the top upholders of the rule of law and gender balance. In a milestone development that promotes judicial independence, Zimbabwe sets up an independent Judicial Service Commission serving fulfillment of the constitutional obligation to maintain an independent and respected judiciary that is not influenced by any forces. The Commission embarked on a number of projects that saw the growth of the judicial system and improved access to justice by all people. At independence, Zimbabwe had about 1 permanent court station per province, but now there are 100 court stations spread across the country.
The majority of our populace they also need to access the magistrate court, because that's where they visit for maintenance, for deceased estates, and for those minor offenses that are commonly committed in those areas. That is also how a decision was then made that we now need to move to townships. So that is now we come to have courts like in Epworth. Now we are building courts in Cowdrey Park. We are going to build courts in Mukoba. Currently, we are almost finalizing our engagement with Mutare City Council warehouse that is under construction in Mavugu. That is the trajectory now, that the courts should go where most of the people are.
Gone are the days when litigants used to travel long distances to access courts, with litigants equally excited about the development.
Kudhara zvinhu zvainetsa kuti vanhu vanoda kuenda kukoti mombomirira mota kuti chauya, but izvozvi vanhu vanongobva mumapurisa pofamba ungouya pakoti.
Zvakanaka chaizvo kuti zvibatsira zvikwereti chachakutenda zvikwereti kupi zvikwereti kuno kuitopedza zvikwereti chikwereti chako inotopera kukoti utopuwa mari kwezvakanaka.
Tinototenda kuti dai mitemo iri panapa yaramba ichivandudzwa nekuti koti iri kutibatsira zvikuru.
Zvinezvi kana takaita mhosva dzedu dzehama dzedu kana ndisu takufamba netsoka tiri padhuze.
Waiti kana kune munhu wapara mhosva akabva pano akaenda kuchiredzi, asvika kuchiredzi kuya wanozodzoka mangwana kana tozodzoka next week, mari yekuzodzokesa kubva kuno kuenda kuchiredzi mari waizoishayiwa.
Kusuka la yachiredzi akuikule yaisvekeni kumakaina imangaliwe mara ati witness atitatsandeka kuya chiredzi sesi witness tavakona ekuatlisa la.
The manual court records system is now becoming irrelevant after the introduction of the computerized case management system, whereby all files are captured electronically and accessed through the click of a button. The IECMS is being used in the upper courts, with trial runs being done in the magistrates' courts. The introduction of specialized courts like the Commercial Court, a division of the High Court, is also a positive post-independence achievement meant to improve the ease of doing business and attract investors into the country. The Special Anti-Corruption Court was launched at all provincial court stations in 2018 in line with government's thrust to nip corruption in the bud. A constitutional court was also established to cater for constitutional challenges being filed. As Zimbabweans celebrate 45 years of independence, they are also celebrating decentralization of services in line with this year's independence theme, which goes Zim at 45, devolve and develop together towards Vision 2030. Fungai Jachi, ZBC News, Harare.
Plans are underway for the establishment of the country's first Institute of Civil Protection and Disaster Management as a resilience measure against climate-induced disaster. We get more from Kenya's Chifuji.
The establishment of the Institute of Civil Protection and Disaster Management has been described as a milestone development in the country's quest to promote excellence in civil protection and emergency management in the face of recurrent disasters affecting the country and the region. Manicaland State University of Applied Sciences Vice Chancellor Professor Albert Shawanda, whose institution signed an MOU with the city of Mutare, spoke on the scope and time frames in implementing the new initiative.
We are going to start with the training of certificate in disaster management and firefighting engineering, but in the long term it would take us about 10 years to establish the institute. As the first 5 years, the personnel in Zimbabwe through the city of Mutare would be sent to Belarus to acquire first degrees in fire engineering and disaster management. So those personnel which would have gone to Belarus, or the staff which would have been developed by the Belarus university, would then come back after 5 years. So after 5 years from now, that's when we would be able to start the program at the degree level.
Mutare City Town Clerk Mr. Blessing Chafesuka spoke on the focus of the new initiative.
The government recently procured firefighting equipment for all local authorities, rural councils included. And, there's a gap now in terms of personnel those who can use that kind of equipment. Now we have created this to train those who can use that kind of equipment.
Government believed the establishment of the Civil Protection Institute in the country was long overdue due to a number of disasters affecting the country.
As a government, we are therefore heartened by this initiative and will give you our maximum support. This collaboration between Muswazi and the Mutare City Council is a clear testimony of the whole of economy and society approach.
The Institute of Civil Protection is also expected to benefit regional countries since it is the first such initiative within the SADC region. Kenya's Chivuje, ZBC News, Mutare.
In our courts, 3 suspected notorious armed robbers who allegedly targeted service stations and other businesses, getting away with thousands of dollars, have been denied bail by the Harare magistrates when they made the initial appearance this Monday. Let's take a look.
30-year-old Leonard Jarola, Danmo Madunguza, 27, and 38-year-old Tafazo Matsika were arrested in connection to multiple charges, including armed robbery, possession of firearms, explosives, and attempted robbery. The trio was not asked to plead during its initial court appearance this Monday and was advised to apply for bail at the High Court. The state told the court that the trio was involved in a series of well-coordinated attacks on businesses and individuals from February to April this year. They were allegedly armed with pistols, machete, and explosives. According to the state, the gang's first known strike was on February 25 in Eastview, Harare, where they allegedly ambushed a man returning home from work. It is alleged that they handcuffed and assaulted him before stealing 13,000 United States dollars cash and the victim's car, a Toyota Belter. The vehicle was later recovered stripped in Akchura's Mashonaland East Province. The court heard that on the 14th of March, the accused persons targeted a grocery shop in Concession, tying up 8 people before robbing them of mobile phones and money. On March 16, the gang allegedly pounced on a service station in Shamva and used explosives to open a safe to steal money. The court also heard that on April 2, the suspects robbed Globe Petroleum in Bindura, where they allegedly overpowered a security guard, tied up 5 workers, and fired shots into the air. They escaped with over 5,700 United States dollars. On April 7, the gang reportedly went back to Eastview, this time targeting Lee Stein service station. They allegedly overpowered security guards, used explosives to open a safe, and made off with 5,500 United States dollars. It is further alleged that the suspects also struck a Mavugu service station on April 10. However, their plan went south when an alleged security guard opened fire, shooting one of the suspects in the leg, with these 3 fleeing the scene. Their last robbery is said to have taken place on April 14 when they allegedly hit another service station in Harare, getting away with 16,000 United States dollars. The suspects were eventually arrested on April 15. They were remanded in custody to the 2nd of May pending finalization of investigations. Meanwhile, 3 more suspected robbers who were part of the gang that robbed the Muteke family at Alpha and Omega Farm of 85,000 United States dollars in March this year were arrested and have been arraigned in court. The trio of Adiona Tlibayo, 39, Charles Chokera, 45, and Arnold Mutindiza, 43, are being charged with 9 counts of armed robbery. They allegedly attacked houses in various areas in Harare and Marondera, getting away with cash and other valuables, including guns. They were remanded in custody pending investigations. Fungai Jachi, ZBC News, Harare.
Do remember you can interact with us on our various social media platforms at ZBC News Online. From the courts, we take a break. We'll be back with business news.
Stuck on you. Ooh, obsessed with you. I'm obsessed.
With Showmax, your favorite characters now follow you anywhere. Download it today and watch the best in local, international, and everything in between.
If you drink, be responsible.
Every 18 April, Zimbabwe celebrates being a proud and sovereign nation whose identity was forged through the resilience and sacrifices of its people during and after the War of Liberation. As a sovereign and independent state, Zimbabwe is committed to self-reliance and dignified international engagement. The Ministry of Foreign Affairs and International Trade reaffirms its commitment to advancing foreign policy goals that prioritize peaceful coexistence with all nations, promoting prosperity through appropriate trade policies while resisting economic and political cohesion. Zimbabwe upholds the principle of unity and sovereign equality of nations through the Southern African Development Community, SADC, the African Union, AU, and the United Nations, UN, among other international bodies. As a sovereign and independent state, Zimbabwe shall continue to protect its prosperity and sovereignty by positively engaging the international environment and advocate for policies that support the principle of peace and shared prosperity in the quest to provide its citizens with happy, prosperous, and fulfilling lives. The Ministry of Foreign Affairs and International Trade congratulates His Excellency the President, Dr. E.D. Mnangagwa, and the entire nation on the 45th Independence Anniversary. Congratulations, Magorokoto Amhlobi. Ministry of Foreign Affairs and International Trade for the integrity, dignity, and prosperity of Zimbabwe.
Speed. It thrills. But it kills. Obey traffic laws and drive within set limits. This message is brought to you by the Traffic Safety Council Zimbabwe. Safety first. There is no second chance. Tel1 Broadband brings you the 100 Days to Win Big promotion. Buy your Tel1 Broadband voucher worth $30 or more at any Pick and Pay store nationwide and unlock the chance to win 50 gigabytes of data every day. Yes, you heard right. Each and every day. For the next 100 days, each TM Pick and Pay branch countrywide will select a winner, and it could be you. Buy your Tel1 Broadband bundle today at your nearest Pick and Pay and make every day a happy one. Hashtag 100 Happy Days to Win Big. The Tel1 100 Days to Win Big promotion runs from 10 March to the 30th of June 2025. Terms and conditions apply. Tel1, the future is better together.
Just over 6 decades ago, a bold idea took root to create a modest platform for local businesses to showcase their offerings. Over time, that vision expanded, evolving with the changing tides of commerce and culture. Today, the Zimbabwe International Trade Fair is a premier platform for trade, investment, and opportunity, connecting people, businesses, industries, and governments from across the globe. It's a space where ideas flourish, partnerships are forged, and the future is shaped. ZITF has driven industrialization, sparked innovation, and fueled growth. Now, as we mark 65 years, the legacy continues. Stronger, more connected, and more determined to shape a prosperous future for all. Join us in celebrating the Blue Sapphire edition of ZITF, taking place from the 21st to the 26th of April 2025 in Bulawayo. ZITF 2025, Industrialization, crafting an integrated economic landscape.
Welcome back. You're still watching the main news. Thank you for staying with us. Now in business, the meetings, incentives, conferences and exhibitions tourism subsector continues to anchor Zimbabwe's tourism recovery growth, with stakeholders confident that the upcoming Atlas Convention, scheduled for August, will further bolster this upward trajectory. We get more from Tichona Kurewa.
The 2025 Atlas Convention is set to welcome over 3,000 delegates from 136 countries, placing Victoria Falls family on the global stage as a premier destination for mice tourism. Industry players are confident that this surge in mice activity will inject significant economic value into the local economy, complementing ongoing government efforts to promote Destination Zimbabwe.
We are excited that the mice tourism has increased the number of people who come through here. People come here as persons attending conferences. They also have a time to enjoy some of our activities. They've enjoyed mainly the cruises. They've also managed to do a bit of some game drives to see our fauna and flora out there. And we also have seen that Zimbabwe has become part of the global community, and that is several international conferences that are held now. We're also quite happy that the Atlas Convention is also coming through, which is going to bring in quite a lot of people. What we are doing as the tour operators is to increase our footprint on the ground, to increase our accommodation on the ground, to increase and improve on our facilities.
From a business point of view, it increases our revenues, and in terms of awareness, all those delegates would be able to share the experience that they get in Victoria Falls, that there is this great place where you can visit.
The Hospitality Association of Zimbabwe is equally optimistic about the impact of the Atlas Convention.
We look forward to more numbers in terms of people visiting the Victoria Falls, getting to experience the landscape of the Victoria Falls, seeing the falls, the game parks that we have around, and other activities that we obviously offer in the city.
According to the Zimbabwe Tourism Authority, between January and September 2024, 231 conferences were held in Victoria Falls alone, drawing more than 20,000 business travelers. With tourism recognized as a key pillar in achieving Zimbabwe's Vision 2030 of becoming an upper middle income economy, the Atlas Convention is poised to be a major milestone in that journey. Tichaona Kurewa, ZBC News, Victoria Falls.
From business, we switch to the arts, and on a rather sad note, talented Zimbabwean actor Charles Mapalume, popularly known as Maraba, has been laid to rest in Epworth this Monday.
Versatile actor Maraba received a befitting send-off by thousands of fans, friends, industry players and family members who thronged the Epworth Cemetery this Monday. Fans and fellow actors said Maraba made an immense contribution to the growth of the country's creative sector, and his legacy will live on.
Zvinotendwa onga runako kwete mbijana asi kufurirana kunowanikwa undisiyo ndiri ndegawo ndina mai ngawo zvanguchi asi toti wazorora murugare mwana wamai vangu Maraba
nzwa kuda kutenda Mwari zvakanyanya necontribution yaakapa kubva kumisikidza ZBC yedu achifadza nyika yeZimbabwe. Munongozviona neuwandu hwevanhu kuti aiwa munhu anga ari wevanhu.
Tikatarisa Maraba naKapfupi pavaekta isusu tanga tiri vana vadiki, tichitarisa industry yedu vanhu vakativhurira nzira kuti tizosvika patiri panabodza ana Jatu, taitoonawo ana Maraba achemwa neruzhinji rwevanhu kufarira kuti mabasa aita anga akanaka, kuti aita mabasa akaipa dasimvira mbowanika panapa.
Anga ari munhu akakosha, akatanga kare vanhu vakatoti inspirewo sema upcoming actors.
He was a loyal man.
Maraba, who succumbed to kidney complications on Saturday morning, is survived by 3 children. Patience Nyagato, ZBC News.
Sad update right there. May his soul continue to rest in peace. The main news takes a breather. We'll be back shortly with sport updates.
They
Air Zimbabwe Board, Management and Staff join His Excellency the President, Comrade Dr. E.D. Mnangagwa, and the entire nation in celebrating 45 years of independence. This day not only marks a monumental occasion in the history of our great nation, but also commemorates the birth of our national airline, Air Zimbabwe, a symbol of national pride and resilience that has been integral to Zimbabwe's journey since independence. For 45 years, Air Zimbabwe has proudly taken to the skies, connecting people, cultures, and opportunities, while contributing meaningfully to the socio-economic development of our country. As we look to the future, we reaffirm our commitment to service excellence and to serving the people of Zimbabwe with pride and dedication. Happy Independence Day, Zimbabwe. Air Zimbabwe, Zimbabwean hospitality in the skies.
The Minister of Home Affairs and Cultural Heritage, Honorable Kazimbe Kazimbe, the Deputy Minister, Honorable Chido Sanyatwe, the Secretary, Ambassador Arati Faranisi, management and staff join His Excellency, the President, Comrade Dr. E.D. Mnangagwa, and the entire nation in celebrating 45 years of independence. As we celebrate our independence, the Ministry remains committed to immortalizing and memorializing the historic spirit of our sons and daughters, in line with the Second Republic's mantra of leaving no one and no place behind. In this regard, as part of legacy projects in Midlands Province, the Ministry has refurbished infrastructure and mounted some exhibitions at Connemara and Wawa prisons, which used to be detention and restriction centers for our nationalist and political activists, as well as Sikombela restriction camp and the iconic Mutapa Hall in Gweru. The Ministry reaffirms its commitment to protect the rich tapestry of our heritage for prosperity. Furthermore, the Ministry remains committed to promoting a secure and peaceful environment to guarantee sustainable development. Zim at 45, devolve and develop together towards Vision 2030. Happy Independence Day, Zimbabwe. The Ministry of Home Affairs and Cultural Heritage, towards a secure and peaceful Zimbabwe.
The 2025 edition of the Zimbabwe International Trade Fair, ZITF, is here. Bulawayo, welcome alive from 21 to 26 April 2025 as the annual multinational expo takes center stage under the theme Industrialization, Crafting an Integrated Economic Landscape. Don't miss this opportunity to showcase your brand. For exciting advertising packages on ZBC TV, ZBC Radio, and digital platforms during ZITF Week, get in touch with ZBC Marketing on email marketing@zbc.co.zw or contact Robson Masunda on 0716 484 712 or Martha on 0719 593 532.
Welcome back and thank you for staying with us. Now, first sport update, Zimbabwe senior cricket team, the Chevrons, are in a strong position. The first test match being played in Shillette against Bangladesh after the hosts ended day 2 trailing by 25 runs this Monday. Let's take a look at the highlights.
Zimbabwe enjoyed a superb start in their test series against Bangladesh, dominating the opening day of the first match in Shillette on Sunday with a commanding all-rounder performance. After winning the toss, the hosts opted to bat first, but were bundled out for just 191 runs on a pitch, offering some assistance to the pace bowlers. Zimbabwe then capped off the day with a confident reply, reaching 67 without loss by stumps. The second day saw Bangladesh putting in some good bowling to deny Zimbabwe a big lead, with the visitors being dismissed for 273 runs. Zimbabwe's veteran Sean Williams and youngster Brian Bennett struck half centuries. The Tigers were a bit more assured in their second innings after losing just 1 wicket before close of play. Blessing Zarabani made an early breakthrough, removing Shadman Islam for 4, a quoted slip by Williams to leave the horse 13 for 1. Mahmoud Hassan with 28 and Moni Mohak with 15 are both not out, then dug in to see out the remainder of the day. As stumps, Bangladesh were 57 for 1, still 25 runs behind with 9 wickets in hand. Lawrence Tusira, ZBC News, Harare.
Winger Jerison Selemani rescued a point for FC Platinum against Scotland in a highly entertaining Castle Lager Premier Soccer League encounter at Rufaro Stadium this Easter Monday. Let's get more in the following highlights.
A lot was expected in the clash between Scotland and FC Platinum, and true to the script, the match lived up to the billing. It was a battle between a pragmatic coach and an exuberant one, and at the end, they could not be separated. Mavuku-based Scotland took the lead in the first half after Vasily Kawe benefited from some good work from Evergreen Kamabiliata. The goal seemed to awaken the Shawane